Alright, let's see how that all plays out. If the YouTube stream is going well, and if the Discord stream isn't laggy. Here to test it out. Good morning, Ryan. Memory of Tree Bongo. Let me start sharing my screen here to go live. So what are we looking at? Essentially, I'm still in a long position from yesterday here on NQ. Question is what kind of long position. So yesterday I got enthusiastic about this fake out move manipulation to the downside where we hit the Asia session low right here. Let me actually turn on the ICT all-in-one. But before I get to that, I think I don't know, I made something cool. So now if I switch from the 5-minute time frame throughout the daily time frame, all my different analysis for each time frame is being shown on the chart automatically. So if we want to see something on the 4-hour time frame, we click on the 4-hour time frame and then it's only showing all the drawings from that specific folder. That's, I don't know, kind of makes it much more multi-time frame. I hear you, Discord settings. Okay, all right, perfect. If TradingView, of course, would load up. Also want to give you guys the chance. So this is the 4-hour time frame now, and if I click on the daily, you can see all the daily analysis automatically without me having to turn it on or off. If I go to the hourly, I have my hourly analysis all over here. Yeah, and that's essentially it. So, but what do I want to talk about? The trade that I'm currently still in. Entered on this inversion fair value gap right here, this bullish fair value gap overlapping with the inversion. We invalidated it shortly this morning, but we also turned around after clearing out this low. This was kind of my speculation that that's going to happen. I would prefer price to, well, continue to take out more buy side and close back above this inversion fair value gap. We have more buy side liquidity above here since we already cleared sell side. More buy side here and a unfilled 5-minute bearish fair value gap. We also have some more higher time frame stuff lining up right here on the previous day high side. Let me go to the higher time frame. We have this high right here. We didn't clear it last week, so we have previous week's high, higher time frame buy side liquidity, our previous day's high right here. An hourly bullish fair value gap we bounced off from this morning and yesterday. And if we go to the 4-hour time frame, okay, that's actually working nice. And if we go to the 4-hour time frame, we have a nice 4-hour bullish fair value gap here, and we've been respecting that ever since. Those were, yeah, essentially since London opened all 4-hour candles yesterday. So that just goes to show how bad of a trading day yesterday was. Very easy to get chopped up, at least on NQ. 4-hour doji. Well, essentially a pin bar hammer. If you think about it, we retest the 4-hour fair value gap and have a nice up closing candle. And now I'm looking for that expansion essentially, because we have lots of unattacked buy side here available on NQ at least. If we zoom out, I also had because I didn't stream yesterday, we couldn't look at, well, the bigger picture. I've done lots of analysis yesterday. Right here, this is what I would consider as the final manipulation leg. Lower low, lower high, lower low, and this is our lowest point. Declaring this as our final manipulation using the standard deviation targets. So measuring from the high to the low and plotting each standard deviation on top of it. Usually we go to 3.5 to 4 standard deviations, and that's, that would essentially take us back above the all-time high. So I thought this might be a little bit interesting, because we can clearly see and label this as our final manipulation move. We've been trending higher. We shifted market structure to the upside exactly from this point. So if we were to mark out the market structure shift that happened right here, Market structure shift bullish. And if we were to, well, first of all, I would look at this inversion fair value gap before we draw in any kind of a breaker block. If we draw in the breaker block, the only thing that makes sense is looking at all of those 3 up closing candles and only regard the bodies. Label this as our breaker block. Right here, overlapping with a inversion fair value gap. And then later on we came back to retest this array of down closing candles within the uptrend, usually tends to hold support. Then once more we came back to retest this major order block right here. And we continued higher from there. So right here, let's make this a blue line. Make this also a blue bullish order block. Stream is running smoothly. Let me know in the chat, because I'm also trying to stream on YouTube at the same time today. So overall, this is a pretty, well, at the time with hindsight, hard to tell, but now that we see the clear picture, this could be a nice low formation. This is everything on the 4-hour time frame. Let me put that into the 4-hour time frame folder and make sure the settings are still correct. I only want to see it on the 4-hour time frame. Minutes, seconds, from 3 until 5. Done. If I now go to the 1-hour time frame, can look at the same manipulation right here, obviously. Got the new week opening gap, the monthly VWAP here on the chart, the 50% of this entire range. So from last week's high to 2nd of May low right here. We have the volume profile here, also the monthly volume profile with a inefficiency right here at that 50% level. Essentially, this bullish fair value gap could eventually become interesting again. But personally, I want to see buy side being attacked first. As long as we hold this hourly fair value gap, I'm going to stay within the trade. We have an hourly bullish fair value gap just below us. Oh yeah, my computer's working. I can tell that I'm streaming live at the same time. How's the quality of the stream? That would be interesting. See if I can actually stream the New York session again here on YouTube and on Discord at the same time. No, it actually works. With a little bit of delay, but that's normal. Nice. Alright, so now I would say best next thing to do would be to pick the winners of our MFFU 50k challenge giveaway. I put all the Discord usernames into here and I'm just gonna hit pick randomly. And congratulations to RM. No, he's not in here right now, but let me actually take a quick screenshot of that and make the announcement afterwards. We will do another one next week, but well, always pays off, especially if there are only, I think, around 12 people actually participating in a giveaway. Pretty good odds to win a free 50k challenge. I wish I could participate myself, but well, this is for the community. Are we looking at anything this morning? Bongo, Dirty Ryan, Ragnar, what are you focusing on right now? Since I'm still in the NASDAQ trade right here, this is yesterday's gold. Not that crazy about NQ. Well, fair enough. I'm kind of stuck with it, so that's why I 1618. Yeah, okay, that's the new day opening gap. Let's make that, well, we just labeled that as new day opening gap. New day opening gap. We just retested that on the hourly. Let's try and see if I can. Yeah, okay. Personally, yesterday I made the decision that I'm not going to be trading ES during London anymore because A, the spread, or during the London Killzone, especially if I trade with my Funding Pips account, is kind of bad. And the chart during the London Killzone just looks ugly. It looks, nah, I don't know, too many gaps. It doesn't look very smooth, especially on the lower time frame. So let me also look into my Take Profit Trader 50k, 25k challenge. Actually, we're up $100. Got one more because they got the free activation fee and 40% discount. So currently going on, you can use the code AZ or AZ Trading to always apply the latest discounts. Pretty cool that you don't have to pay the activation fee. Then it actually, ends up being cheaper than an Apex Trader funding account. Gold not that crazy about NQ. Yeah, missing data since like 2 weeks. At least it looks like that. Yeah, definitely. Or just very low volume, especially if we take a look at the lower time frame. So if I were to, well, pop up ES right here. ES, and now we go down to the 5-minute time frame. It just looks crappy, if you know what I mean. Like gaps everywhere. This is not the S&P 500 chart that I'm used to. You have kind of nice movements, but even after the New York session yesterday, it just felt very weird. And if I take a look now at the 5-minute time frame here on NQ, it's smooth, like very smooth, even during Asia. And yeah, that's why I decided to stick to NQ for now. On the 5-minute, we had a little sweep, a little stop hunt. We already pushed above a new high. My main target essentially is this buy side liquidity right here. Let's see if we can hit it. I'm also happy to just close this trade at break even. I couldn't make it back in time to close the position before, well, the market closed yesterday essentially. So yeah, I guess we'll see. So just looking at today's London session, let's hide all this stuff and turn on the ICT all-in-one and see if we can maybe capture a scalp on the TraderWeight account. We have this hourly bullish fair value gap brought to us, from the ICT all-in-one. Let me make sure it's actually the hourly time frame. Yeah, it's the hourly time frame. All right, perfect. In terms of MAs, we just crossed over, holding support on the fastest. But yesterday was just a pure chaos. The initial shorts were good. And then if you, stuck to the shorts to target the Asia session low, you were good as well. But if you wanted to see the previous day's low hit, or maybe glued to the 1-minute time frame, you likely looked for longs here and then for shorts again, and then maybe for longs again, and then for shorts again, and for longs again, and then for shorts, missing out on the big moves because yesterday was just very choppy, at least the New York AM session. We had a decent move to the upside here after the London Open right here around 4:15 is when we turned around really, forming higher highs and higher lows. One fake out market structure shift at 8:15. So right here we formed a higher high, higher low, higher high with a market structure shift to the downside, which quickly has been invalidated with the 8:30 injection of liquidity, forming a new higher high, a new higher low, a new higher high. But then at 9:30 at the market open, we changed market structure for good. Shifted structure right here, came back to retest the breaker block and continued lower. I caught parts of this trade, secured some profits down here, but I really wanted to see the Asia session low. But this recovery with the inversion fair value gap and all, essentially led to me closing the position. Super glad that I didn't get caught on the job, because that's what happens, I'd say 90% of the time to me, or to most traders. Right here, we set up our opening range 9:30 till 9:45, sometimes until 10. Then we just consolidate around the 50% level. Here, also nicely lining up with the VWAP. That's where you blow up your accounts and usually go on tilt. At least talking about my own experience. And we can actually see that we never closed below this range, our opening range. We stayed inside of it, at least regarding candle bodies, the entire time, hovering around that 50% level. So a quick recap of yesterday's price action. That's our new week opening gap down here. You can see that we held beautiful support during the Asia session yesterday. We swept the Asia low and immediately turned back inside of the range. This is what essentially led me to taking longs. Unfortunately, I couldn't take my profits here. My profit targets were set at those two highs. But, well, it is what it is. Now I'm still on the trade. I'm glad that we swept those two lows. I checked it out before I went to bed. Well, stop loss right somewhere around here. We came back, took all that liquidity below these lows, and now I'm looking for the opposite liquidity to be taken. If we look at maybe an Asia session setup, lowest bearish fair value gap, we close above it, we come back to retest it, and, well, we never... It's essentially our change in state of delivery, invalidating that lowest bearish fair value gap. We have maybe some SMT divergence. I don't really care about that. Maybe we have a bullish fair value gap right here. And from here on, we perfectly respected bullish order flow ever since the next bearish fair value gap we had right here. Initially, we hold resistance. We managed to close above, and then we push above the VWAP. Once we got above the VWAP, we paused for a little while, but holding nice support on the VWAP. Pushing higher, leaving behind a new bullish fair value gap, retesting that bullish fair value gap, and continuing higher. Another time, another tiny bullish fair value gap right here. Retesting that right here, we just had a little stop hunt, if we want to call it that. Make that red. Bullish fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, inversion fair value gap. We use it as resistance once, twice, and then we manage to close above. What do? We retest the inversion fair value gap and push above Asia buy side. Also a very nice scalp after 2 for 8 handles. That's not bad. I hope all of this makes sense. Otherwise, feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. We have another inversion fair value gap. Well, essentially from over here, resistance once, now we closed above. So let's just see if it's being used as support now for the continuation into this buy side liquidity right here. What else could we be looking at? We have a tiny little bearish fair value gap right here. We can also spread that over. We can see that once we closed above, we actually never invalidated it with a candle body, with a close or an open. We cleared Asia buy side liquidity. We took out some sell side liquidity here. We talked about the lowest inversion fair value gap setup. If we now take a look at ES and look at our, well, first of all, it looks like shit. Okay, on ES we have equal lows right here, and on NQ we have a higher low. So, well, we could say there are hints of an SMT divergence, but nothing confirmed. All right, so that's the update. Let's actually check out the YouTube live stream. Then I don't have to upload the entire recording and everything's available much quicker. First of all, gotta like the live stream because I really like it myself. Alright, but we can close that again and focus on the chart. Let's see if we continue expanding into this first buy side target, and then next buy side target would be right up here and here. Then we have our 5-minute bearish right up here. We have no more bearish fair value gaps that we could be referencing in orders job. I also don't wanna. This is already, well, just for reference, ideally, I would prefer to just use inversion fair value gaps and bullish fair value gaps we actually created today. And so far, we've been doing that pretty nicely. We just talked about the entire, well, we could also even use this inversion fair value gap. Why? Because we use it as resistance. We can see that actually we managed to close above it one time, but really take a close look here. We closed above it, but we opened back inside of it, and that's a huge difference to me. Once we close above it, what do? We test it, and we continue higher from there. So this is our lowest inversion fair value gap. Nice order flow, if we're being honest. Easy to tape read. Had a little stop hunt right at the London Open. So we could view this as our manipulation leg from the current high of the day and plot out standard deviation targets to the upside. Otherwise, what would we be using as our final manipulation if we look at the current low of the day? Well, essentially we would have to look at this entire lower low, lower high, lower low as one swing. This being the market structure shift, retesting the breaker block and then continuing higher. But this is a pretty big range for the final manipulation. So I think we would be better off just looking at the lowest 1 hour candle right here and use that to plot standard deviations to the upside. We can see that we're at 2.5 standard deviations. 4 standard deviations would deliver us straight into the targeted buy side. Let's keep an eye on that. Delete all those lines. Take a look at the account and log in again on the funding pips server. We're up 105. Let's see, so far we have no invalidation that price would like to turn around. It is 25, so we have to be aware of the dirty 30. If you don't know what the dirty 30 is, I'm not going to tell you. It's something secret for the ones that know. All right, looking at the 15-minute time frame. Well, that really should be next. We don't have a nice 15-minute bearish fair value gap here on this leg either. So yeah, we're just looking forward to see the continuation. I am going to swap 22, 28. That's exactly $50. Bitcoin down, the S&P 500 also forming a nice bottom here. Would also look forward to see this buy side liquidity being run. Let's look at Euro US dollar. No, let's keep it on NDX and wait for 330. Of course, if there are any questions, feel free to ask. Like always, that's making the stream way more interactive, and I can, well, I have a couple of things to talk about. If you don't ask questions, well, I can only guess. 4 people watching the YouTube live stream. Nice. Yes, I can check on Gold. Let me actually head over to the AZ Tape Reading Twitter account and share the live stream. Can I take a look at Gold? Of course I can. Duplicate. Make sure I change the template and put it to unnamed, that's fine. GC1. Let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour looks like it wants to continue lower. Oh, but I'm not a gold expert. I don't have a good feeling of how it usually behaves. Characteristics. Short's been going on ever since here. This could be a lower high. Looking at the 1 hour tiny little inversion fair value gap right here. Sell side would be pretty obvious. Looking at the 4 hour time frame. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder kind of setup. We swept sell side liquidity right here. Maybe watch out for right at the 50%, ICT fib retracement at the 61.8. So if this were an impulse retracement continuation type of setup, then we would expect price to really not go further than this low, maybe retrace to the optimum trade entry right at 2333. Only if, well, this was a fake out move to hunt some stops, then I'd say we could see those lows, but I would wait for final confirmation on that, because we could just be bottoming out here for the next leg up higher, similar to what we did right here. Impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse. All right, it's 3:30. 30-30 might be in play. Watch it closely. Price likes to turn around at the 30-minute mark. 15-minute time frame. Do we have any special fair value gaps if the chart wants to load up? Nope, not really. We have SMT divergence with ES, but I mean, look at this ES price action. It just looks weird. So if we want to take this higher, I want to see down closing candles supporting price. Let me actually use a proper line here. And see a bullish reaction of this area. We've already seen a bullish reaction of the area twice actually. But now with the 30 minute, quickly gonna go to bathroom. I will be back in no time. looks like we're not gonna hold support here. That's why I said 30-30. Tricky. Come on, show us a nice reaction. Maybe take a look at the 1 minute time frame. We swept the low, bullish fair value gap, continuation higher, swept the low. Go back to the 5 minute time frame. Take a look at gold. Definitely not a gold expert. Not a good feeling of what it might do. Open up with a little volume imbalance here. Let's see if we hold those down closing candles and continue to push higher. We invalidated this inversion fair value gap, but like I said, it's from yesterday. Throughout all this chop, so I don't put too much emphasis on it. If we would have a inversion fair value gap from today's price action, it would be a different story. And let's just leave it open and look at it later. We've got a message. Could you check out on gold? Keep in mind we have this unfilled hourly bullish fair value gap right where the VWAP sits. Unfortunately, we don't have any bullish fair value gaps on this entire move up. The last bullish fair value gap we left behind is right here at 18285. That we could use as potential inversion fair value gap, at least on a 5 minute time frame. On the 1 minute time frame, we have a couple of them right here, for example. We're inside a inversion fair value gap right now. So if that is the change in state of delivery for short, for us to retest the VWAP and come back into this hourly bullish fair value gap, this might be a good opportunity to short. But right now, for me at least, on a 5 minute time frame, I don't think we're just there yet. We also have our MA ribbon. Right here we have the VWAP, we have this hourly bullish fair value gap. So this might really be an interesting area for price to retrace into. And it all starts at the 30-minute mark. God damn it, I hate it. I might want to close this trade, to be honest. Not super interested in holding it to the VWAP and hoping for a support bounce. If we were to close below this on the 5 minute, I'm going to close the position. On the 15 minute, first bearish 15 minute, well, okay, we have a bearish 15 minute candle here, but you know what I mean. Cleared the Asia session high and essentially one straight move to the upside. Also keeping that in mind, on the 1 hour time frame, we have the new day opening gap actually sitting right there. That's interesting. Retested to 50% after closing above it. Where's the new day opening gap right here? We closed and we opened. Close, open. That's the new day opening gap. Here's gold, potentially, well, cleared this high. If this were to shift structure and close above this high, you could be looking at a potential breaker block setup. The only thing that's risky about the setup would be that it's not happening at the low of the day, and well, we cleared some sell side liquidity, but well, we wouldn't be surprised if it actually continues lower. You would look for this kind of market structure shift reversal setup below this low ideally. Or at least below this low. having this below us in very close proximity and looking for the market structure shift set up here, well, there's still reason to believe why we could actually continue lower. So just very basic. Good morning, RM. First of all, congratulations. You won the MFFU challenge giveaway. Here we have it. So I'm going to submit your email that you signed up with at MFFU to, well, the guy that's allowing me to do these giveaways. And well, should be activated by tomorrow or maybe even today. No worries. Like I said, I mean, the odds, if I do giveaways, we usually have around 25 participants, and this one we only had 12. I can't push it anymore other than telling you to participate, unless you don't like free challenges. Might be the only reason why you don't like to participate. But yeah, free 50k MFFU challenge. I will do another one next week, or maybe even start it this week and pick another winner next week, essentially. Have it going on for 1 week. But I will post that in the announcement section on Discord. Alright, so where are we at? Right here on NQ, we have a bearish fair value gap, so my eyes are on this one. Seeing that we got our reaction of the down closing candles, I would like to see price continuing up higher and closing above this bearish fair value gap. If we reject from here and form a new lower close, that's going to be my exit criteria, because this would for me be early bearish order flow confirmation. If not that, we might just end up chopping for, well, at least 3 till 4 a.m. A little bit over the halfway mark. We had our dirty 30 fake out, we could call it, our little stop hunt. So let's see if we can keep the bullish order flow alive using down closing candles as support. Next step, making it to this buy side liquidity, is to close above the bearish fair value gap. If we see that, I might go in long of the inversion fair value gap with my stop below this low, maybe even right here at the 50% of those wicks, targeting this buy side liquidity for a 1.45 risk to reward. That's the current trade idea for the TradeOvate account. Maybe even for the Funding Pips account. Let's see if we can get the close above here. And see if the YouTube live stream is still running smoothly. Yeah. A little bit slower, but should be all good. Perfect. One and a half minutes to go. Let's see, let me put all these into a folder and hide it very quick and go to the 4-hour time frame, because a couple new people joined. And I spent some time yesterday evening to update all my charts, especially NQ, because I decided to trade NQ for at least London session, because charts look just lots better, especially on the lower time frame. And this is my kind of higher time frame outlook. We have my final manipulation, last lower low, lower high, measured, calculating standard deviations to the upside. You see where it would take us right around the 19,200 levels. It would be where we would expect this to reverse. Just not reverse, but let's say pull back, just based on standard deviations of that final manipulation leg. Can see that we shifted market structure, held support on down closing candles. We had a nice inversion fair value gap here and our breaker block. And from here, we managed to push price higher. Being all the way up here, we can see that for our fair value gaps have been used to hold support. We had Friday's sell-off right here, started the new week right over here with the new week opening gap. We left behind one 4-hour bullish fair value gap so far this week, and we've been holding support on it nicely. This is essentially yesterday's price action after 2 a.m. Doji, 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 and a bullish hammer right here coming out of the 4-hour bullish fair value gap. So that's interesting to me to see if we are going to continue higher to take out those 4-hour highs. We have some more uncleared buy side liquidity above, so two relative equal highs. Would make sense to see one more push up higher before we maybe retrace into some of these lows before we, well, continue our journey towards the all-time high right here. But let's go back to little picture and see if we can enter on the inversion fair value gap. Turn on our lower time frame again. We got our entry right here at the consequent encouragement. Our stop loss is going to be right here at the 50%, and our target, let's see if it delivers nicely. If we're just chopping ahead of the CPI news event tomorrow, we can take a look at the 1-minute time frame. Filled the volume imbalance right at the high. So if we were to immediately close below this inversion fair value gap, I would just exit the trade. Both trades actually. Those are the up closing candles I want to see being used as support. Can take a quick look at ES. But ES is, I mean, look at, that's essentially why I decided to screw ES, especially during London session. It's just not a clean chart compared to what we see right here on the 5-minute time frame. We can beautifully use order flow for the move higher. 2.5 minutes. It's 3:45, 15-minute time frame. Close with a nice rejection wick. 1-hour time frame. Like that, we have this hourly bullish fair value gap here. Let's see, stop loss should be fine at the 50% level here. Trade limit order 1, that's just 155. Well, I have to be careful with the 25k TPT challenge because I have a $500 max drawdown for a day. So I don't want to max it out with the first trade during the London session. Take it slow. Since this essentially is a long at the high of the day. One more minute to go. 3:55. This is going to be our new hourly opening. 3 a.m. so far moved up for the first 30 minutes. Then we had our 30-30 setup. We recovered. Let's see, 17 seconds to go. Immediately having invalidated the inversion fair value gap. Holding at the consequent encouragement. Gonna leave my stop loss intact for now. Might be the wrong decision, but we'll see. 15-minute time frame, no wick to the upside. Bearish ever since. Like I said, there's no point in comparing it to ES because, well, ES is essentially just doing nothing. Not even moving. I mean, maybe a little bit, but look at this price action. All these gaps, candles just don't look right. Might be the case that we will have to wait until 4 a.m., which essentially is in 7 or 7.5 minutes, before we see the continuation up higher or essentially our stop loss being hit. Today at 8:30 a.m. we have core PPI news. We have the PPI news release. And we have Powell speaking at 10, all right, due to speak at the Netherlands for a Bankers Association in Amsterdam. Audience questions expected, okay. So Powell is speaking today. Usually the market acts a little bit differently when Powell is speaking, especially before that. So I won't be taking any New York AM session trades prior to 10 a.m. I want to see the reaction of Powell's speech, especially because it's just 1 day away from the CPI news. And, well, it's a hot topic if the Fed is going to cut rates or keep them flat. Let's see, next week we have PMI, unemployment claims, French and German bank holiday once again. FOMC meeting minutes. That's going to be interesting next week, Wednesday, where they revise or revisit the decision they made during the last FOMC news event. And then week after that, 1st of June, Monday 27th, bank holiday, but yeah, let's worry about that another time. Are you holding this? You mean NQ? Yeah, right now I'm still holding the trade. But it's super small risk also on the funding pips account. It's not the end of the world if that's not playing out. And yeah, funding pips, I've seen that recently. They're now offering a 3-step and a 1-step challenge. Payout in 5 trading days, multiple trading platforms. 1-step, 3-step, and yeah, the regular 2-step. Oh yeah, not looking good. SMT forming a new high. But the S&P 500 is just trash, rubbish PA. Doesn't really make sense to... Well, here we had the stop hunt. Higher low. And now we're already pushing above to form a new higher high. I want the 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward challenge. I'm just gonna be holding through the new hourly opening and see what happens. I don't really want to close right here. The risk is well calculated. 15-minute time frame is about to close. 1 hour time frame is about to close. Here on NQ could be some sort of a top formation. Not gonna lie with this doji if we close like this in the next 3 minutes. 5-minute time frame. Let's take a look at the 1-minute time frame. Could be a local top, some sort of a left shoulder, head, right shoulder setup to come back to the VWAP essentially right here and fill in the hourly fair value gap. Yes, they up their prices. Sneaky way of upping your prices with new challenges being added to, well, the palette. Alright, so we stopped out. I'm gonna close these longs. And see if we can catch something fresh. Like I said, ES still doesn't give you a hint of it being bearish. That's why I like the idea of holding on to the longs on NQ. We might just be playing around here and we still end up holding support on our down closing candles, but that's not really what I sign up for. I can always re-enter. We see that the inversion fair value gap setup didn't play out. That's alright. We'll see how we continue. We're back in no time. All right, the new our candle opened up, and is going to take it higher immediately. That's what we would not like to see having closed. But well, in that case, price action is just a little bit choppy. We open up with a gap. Stop respecting bullish order flow, but at the same time not leaving behind many bearish fair value gaps whatsoever. To use as invalidation. We only had this one right here. We just cleared the low right here. And tap those two down closing candles. Immediately rejected. Hourly time frame. Looking interesting. No fair value gap here. If we were to leave behind a bearish fair value gap right around this area, I would be interested. Even then, the range is too small. We had a nice consistent uptrend. We talked about it from the get-go right here. Midnight, change in state of delivery, close above the lowest bearish fair value gap, retest, continuation higher, bounce off the bullish fair value gap, push up higher, close above this bearish fair value gap, hold support on the VWAP, continue higher, support bullish fair value gap, close above this bearish fair value gap, come back to retest it, continue to deliver into the Asia session high. And now that we actually reached the Asia session high, we've been going sideways. I still think that overall price is more likely to continue higher. I'm just not interested in potentially holding it through a dip like this. Just cleared the lows right here, those two lows. Retest the slowest down closing candle in 1 minute. Starting to push back up now. I'm looking at ES. Two equal highs. Yeah, well, ES just looks super ugly. Yeah, the 4 hour on NQ, it's just messy. That's why where my bullish bias is coming from. That's why I'm not yet bearish, because we're still holding 4 hour and 1 hour bullish order flow right here. New day opening gap, retested that, buy side liquidity above. Yes, would have been a VWAP rejection entry. Oh, right here. Yeah, I see. Yeah. But yeah, just the way ES looks doesn't really make it attractive to me to tape read it at least. But yeah, good old VWAP. Bump, 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 bump. Pushing up higher. Equal high buy side, Asia high buy side. And the same thing on NQ very likely. Just a stop hunt. Like we said, it might be something that happens next hour. Essentially, what happened. Just not willing to take the risk to, well, let this retrace the VWAP. Looking good on the 15. Damn. All right, so we open up with a little gap here. Stop loss is going to be right here at the 50%. So we're just using the same fair value gap again to see if we can deliver into our buy side target. Sell 1. Given that we just cleared sell side. EU is selling off. Starting at 4 a.m. Kind of a shitty risk to reward ratio here. Looking for at least the next 30 minutes to take out this buy side liquidity. If we haven't done it by then, well, that's some sort of invalidation for me. Let's get rid of most of these lines and try to keep our chart a little bit cleaner. Unless this first up closing candle here at 4 a.m. turns to be a fake out, we should be good. We cleared a short-term low. Haven't cleared any buy side liquidity since. But we would like to see this continue, well, at least after retesting this high. 3.7%, nice. EU, let's see if we have GU here as well, GBP. USD. 2 a.m. cleared highs, inversion fair value gap. Well, at least it's moving. But I'm not a friend of watching too many charts at the same time. No, ES is looking rather, well, no, I don't want to say rather bearish. It's rejecting. Let's call it what it is. Cleared sell side liquidity. I would look at least for these highs to be cleared. Then I would move my stop to break even. See if we can take out this buy side target and further buy side targets to the upside. Not looking for the biggest kind of move. That's essentially it. Would be nice to see in 6 minutes, essentially when this 15-minute candle is closing, a close above here for the continuation during the next 15 minutes. And then around 30, I want to see price by here, or right up here. Don't want to see consolidation until the 30-minute mark, essentially. tiny little bullish fair value gap here now. Right in here. Filled it in. Let's see if we get our bullish reaction off here. Looking good initially. But yeah, that's the final 5-minute candle of this 15-minute candle. So this 5-minute candle here is going to decide where we're closing on the 15-minute time frame. Our high sits at 94.75. Yeah, essentially we would have to close above this to get a nice closing 15-minute candle for the continuation during the next 15 minutes. Come on. You started so nice. Keep on pushing it up. 1-minute time frame. Damn. 1 minute looks like trash. Looks like it really doesn't want to take out the highs. We'll see how this candle is closing. If we immediately invalidate this bullish fair value gap on this 5-minute candle close, I'm going to get out of the longs. This is essentially the last line of defense. This 1-minute bullish here. Because right now we're just going sideways. I would appreciate if volatility would pick up and actually do something. This is the last time I'm looking for the continuation long into these highs. Otherwise, well, if I see another entry opportunity, I would just let it play out and take the next setup move on. The XY is pushing strongly. Come on, one final manipulation right up here before we take it lower. We're not just going to sell off from here. "25 seconds before we get our 15-minute time frame candle close. Last 10 seconds of the 15-minute candle. Alright, a decent close. So let's see what that new 15-minute candle brings. Once again with a gap to the downside here. Tiny one. Push it real good. You can't hear me. What the fuck? Yeah, I can hear it. You cannot hear me, but I wonder why. Hopefully it's working again. No, it's working again. I think so, yeah. Damn, what a boring London session. But I prefer it like this than, well, I don't know, watching too many charts at the same time. It just doesn't work for me. I'm gonna adjust my stop loss here to the slow. Here we go. Come on. There we go. That's what we've been waiting for a long time now. Fortunately not on the first try, but here goes the current high of the day. My stop loss is right at the low now. Let's actually put it to this candle slow. Finally, yeah, man. You already TP'd. I'm just going to trail my stop loss. Where did you enter, Kati? Damn. A Twitter post. Let's give that a repost right away. Yeah, nice. Very nice. Come on. Don't do that to me. Keep on pushing. That's the DXY. Let me take a look at the S&P. Not the worst. Okay, so we opened up. Like I said, this target would be nice until the 30-minute mark. We open up with a bullish volume imbalance. I want to see this remain intact. Filled in now. Well, if the long's not going to play out, at least we have a pretty good short coming in. $120. Breakout or fake out? That's the big question at this point in time. One minute bullish fair value gap here. We filled in the volume imbalance. Like I said, I would prefer this to remain open after this 5-minute candle close. This is going to be my target. I think at 430, very likely we're going to see some sort of a dirty 30 kind of retracement like we did right here. But before that, I want to see the first 30 minutes of this new hourly candle expand higher. And then from here, look for support of this entire thing to the downside. Let's just call it thing. I'm so damn tempted. I'm just gonna trail my stop loss here. I wish I would be trading with micros because then I could actually take partials, but I can right over here and take 0.72 off right here. Close. Happy. Final minute of this 5-minute candle. Let's take a look at ES here real quick. Yes, it's also pushing higher. YM is pushing higher. EU gold is also pushing higher. We talked about it. But right now we're just going, I don't know, fuck looking at different charts. The issue I have looking at too many different charts at the same time is that I have a hard time picking which one I should go with. And then it triggers some kind of FOMO in me if I pick the wrong one. I'm like, shit, I'm in drawdown. If I would have entered on EU or GU, then I would be in profit now. And then that leads me to mess up the current trade that I'm in. And then, nah. Not good at picking between. So I just found a way to, well, just sticking with one. And I don't think really it's an issue. I really like it. Alright, stop is protected. Out of initial, I think, $200 loss, we managed to move it into profit. So even if we get stopped out below this candle slow, I'm not looking for a bearish engulfing here. At that point, I'm out. I wish I could take partials via... I've already done that on the Funding Pips account. That's why I like it so much. This certainly would have been a partial. I'm looking forward to maybe see if we can reach 3.5 to 4 standard deviations of this lowest 1 hour bullish candle. We had a nice move to the upside. Spent the first hour of the London Killzone going sideways. Looking forward to see at least the first 30 minutes of that new hourly candle expanding to the upside. Let's see where we're at. 165. So we cleared buy side. Let's take another small partial here. 0.25. Close. Happy. My initial long from yesterday would have worked out into these TPs, but well, I essentially closed them at break even because I wasn't really willing to allow it to retrace back to the VWAP or even further. But we already recovered that loss. Put some profits on top. And the only real thing that you have to make sure of is to not lose yourself in case the breakout never actually happens. You have your fixed plan of what's going to happen, and you just, well, I don't know, for example, in this kind of job, that's where I tend to blow accounts. See how we close here. Look at the 15-minute time frame, because in 2.5 minutes we get a new 15-minute candle, and the question is, price really much likes to turn around at the 30-minute mark. Right here, down closing candle at 30. Well, maybe not the best examples here. At 8:30 we continue back to the upside. Let's just see how it goes. Maybe leave behind for once a nice bullish fair value gap that we can later use as inversion fair value gap for the short. Be nice. Oil is losing it. .30 seconds to go. Potential bullish fair value gap here, looking at the 15. No bullish fair value gap. We could see a retracement back to the down closing 15-minute candle and hold support from there. Essentially those two major down closing candles. Okay, nice. Let's see if 30-30 is in play or if we keep on going higher. Like said, what we wanted to see happened exactly like we wanted it to see. Inversion fair value gap, we held support on this bullish fair value gap, and by 4:30 we wanted to see this buy side being hit. It's achieved. That's done. Now we want to see if bullish order flow can hold up, essentially. Because we have a couple of more targets here. We have a 5-minute unfilled bearish fair value gap. In terms of standard deviations, we could reach it, measured from our lowest down closing bullish candle, because we don't really have a final manipulation leg right here. And after 1 hour of consolidation, I'd say, no, this is the entire hour. We could see an entire hour of expansion before we see the reversal. But time will tell. Time will tell. Coffee would be nice, but I can't leave right now. Well, I don't wanna. I could, but we tapped into a bullish fair value gap right here. Looking at the 1 minute. I would prefer to see higher highs and higher lows being put in place. If we close below this right here, this would be some early confirmation that the bears are taking over. Short term. We're not talking about daily charts and stuff. Show how many degens we have watching the live stream, but something cool. I'm still holding my GameStop shares. We had a nice opening yesterday. I started picking some up again at $10 or at the $10 mark. So right around here. $10. I had some limit orders set just because it felt like a nice price, and we had a low right here. And pre-market, we're at 41 again. Damn. Closed at 30, pre-market at 41. Stat the mowers. I don't know. I hope so. Damn. Because Matt got diamond hands. I don't know how degen you are. Those are things from, well, meme coin trading that I've been doing and for a long time now. And there you have those funny terms of, well, paper hands and diamond hands. Diamond hands never sell or never get out of positions, they just buy. And paper hands, you've bought the first short squeeze couple of years. Me too. And I've got some stocks that are in massive drawdown, not gonna lie. I took my profits, decided to keep on holding for some. And ever since, I think I started buying again below 20. Right now, it's a fucked up game if you ask me. The media trying to cover things up, blaming this entire pump from $10 per share to 40 pre-market based on one person on Reddit making a post for the first time after 3 years. And I don't know, you guys definitely know how much money and how much volume it takes to make this kind of a move. Yeah, it's bought at $3 in 2020 crash and sold at 300. Damn, 100x, not bad. Not bad, RM. Yeah, it's always some weird guy and not the hidden hands. It already has been halted for trading again, and yeah, well, they're still fucked up, massively short. And the funny thing is, with GameStop and why I don't personally hold a stock portfolio is because I think it's a super fucking rigged game. If I just look at the GameStop example, you would think that there's a fixed amount of shares circulating in the market, but the float of shares actually circulating in the market is much higher. Well, let me make an easy example. We know for a fact that there's only gonna be 21 million bitcoins ever available. But the same thing with stocks. You have your, I don't know, your circulating supply of shares that are available, but at the same time, more shares are currently short than there should be available. No one keeps track. That's the thing. Agencies or institutions that are supposed to keep track of those things, they make a profit with it because they sell multiple shares, the same shares, multiple times. I'm not very good at explaining that stuff. I have a friend of mine who's really good. It's not a conspiracy theory. I know it's just facts. The data all backs it up. If you're interested in that, I just would advise you to do your own research. But, well, I don't know. I think they messed up the digitalization of all those stocks, and the big players aren't really investigated because they're already too big. And if hedge funds fail, they're just going to get bought up from even bigger hedge funds. It's a funny system. That's for sure. 210. Maybe take another partial up here. 0.25. Close. Move our stop above break even. And see if we can run into our final buy side target for the remaining 132. Then we should make it to 4% in profit. No, 2% in profit. Let's see if we can actually achieve that. 1 minute time frame. Enough talking about GameStop. I wouldn't suggest you to buy right now. You either buy the low or you just accept the fact that you missed the opportunity in exclamation marks. Otherwise, you just get wrecked. It's the same thing with meme coins. Once you hear about a meme coin, you just end up being exit liquidity for everyone that bought at the beginning. It's simply a fact. Insiders always win. It's this way with meme coins with a couple of 10 or 100,000 or maybe some millions in market cap. It's happening with stocks with multi-million, hundreds of millions in market cap. It's the same dirty stuff, just, well, in the end of the day, retail always gets fucked. Especially if you follow those big news outlets in regards to stocks. I think, do you know Jim Cramer? The guy on CNBC that's always yelling. Let me see, Jim Cramer. And there's actually an index. If you would have done exactly the opposite as Jim Cramer suggested, we would actually have outperformed the S&P 500 over the past couple of years. Inverse Jim Cramer, yeah. It's crazy. And people that don't know how rigged and dirty this game actually is, they watch Jim Cramer on TV. He's shilling you some stock, exactly like someone on Twitter is shilling you a shitty meme coin. Well, and he's only shilling to you that at the top or at a critical point because insiders want to make some money. Well, he might not be a complete fool, but I mean, the stats speak for themselves. If you would copy all my trades, but invert them and actually be profitable, I mean, what am I really doing in that case? And trust me, he's getting paid to say that. He's not doing that for fun, going on CNBC saying, oh, warning about micro strategy. There's an agenda, and that's 100% sure. Because the game is rigged. No questions about that. Once again, just because I want to prove the point here, they blamed, no, not Trade of 8, GME. Essentially what they said is they blamed this entire move, and people, retail, can't even buy during pre-market unless they trade CFDs, but that's not really weighted in here on the New York Stock Exchange. They blame something like this. We closed yesterday at 30. Right now, pre-market, we're sitting at 42. They are blaming this. Well, let me look it up. GME stock. GameStop source in meme stock flashback as Roaring Kitty. Someone on Reddit reappears. That's what they're blaming it on. Come on. Nah. Because one person Reddit reappeared. Of course, he was big for GME, but it's not the reason why price is jumping from 18 to 40. Not the only reason. That's all I'm saying. There's more to it. I know people follow. He's very big in that entire meme coin, meme stock thing. Already the fact that they call it a meme stock is... yeah, come on. Can't watch the video right now, but I will check it out afterwards, Bongo. Big money, blah, blah, blah. Well, he definitely knows. For 40, 15-minute candle closing like this. Not super bullish, but like I said, our stop is protected. If we close below this bullish fair value gap, I'm gonna get out. We already secured nice profits. Let's actually secure this funding pips profit right here. Close positions. They refresh, 159 in profit. I'm happy with that, I'm content. The only trades we lost. Oh, well, I don't know. Doesn't matter. We tried initially to go long right on this inversion fair value gap, got stopped out right at the 50% of those wicks. Then we went long again, essentially at the same price. Still hodling this trade. Because so far, well, I've seen a good video about it yesterday. Losing traders, they have one thing in common. If price goes against them and they're in drawdown, they become very optimistic. And once price is moving in their favor, they become very pessimistic. And that's one of the biggest issues. They suddenly lose all the trust in their own analysis and actually holding on to trades once they're in profit, because they become pessimistic, seeing they losing profits, and no. Like me, for example, closing the trade right here. I mean, fair enough. I'm happy with it. I made my profits. Let's tally it up. 40, 45, 30, 159. It's nothing major, but still want to play this phase 2 of the funding pips challenge here safely. Just have to do 1,600 in profit, and then the phase 2 is done and over with. Not gonna lie, we could see some sort of a accumulation, manipulation, reversal pattern here on EU. Just want to point that out. Nice manipulation. Question is when we get the confirmation that this might be a AMD setup. We cleared sell side. That's for sure. We can check our higher time frames to see if we reacted off a fair value gap or something. Not really, we just cleared sell side. Maybe look at the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, we filled a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. Like we said, if we were to take out these highs, similar to what we said on gold, and we keep on forming higher highs and higher lows, this is where we would expect to bounce from. And if we combine that with the stuff from the lower time frame, the potential accumulation, manipulation, distribution setup, right here, let's make this blue. And drop it down to the 15-minute now. $15-minute FVG. Let's just call it 15-minute. Once this is inverted, we could be confident in the buy side being cleared. This would be the textbook accumulation, manipulation, distribution setup. The daily candle opened up right over here. This is our Asia session high. Asia buy side liquidity. And our previous day's high. Previous day's high. And if we were to measure the final manipulation here to the downside, let's go to the 5-minute time frame. Interesting. So this is our 15-minute. On the 5-minute, we already have our first inversion fair value gap. This would be our second one. And now I'm interested in EU because I'm fairly confident that we've seen the manipulation move. Before that, I'm not interested in it because I don't see who's being manipulated, if you know what I mean. The only thing why you would take this short here is because you anticipate this 4-hour fair value gap being filled in. But, well, I prefer to see manipulation first and then, yeah, act based on that. Let me take a look and see if the YouTube stream is still working. Yeah, sound is still working, nice. It is 50. We're inside the London session macro. So far, we're still holding support. No reason to exit trades. 1 minute time frame. 15-minute time frame. 15-minute bullish fair value gap right here. Right at the 50% of this major. Is this the... What's that box? That's the 5-minute. Let me put all of this into group 1. That's today. That's the 15-minute time frame. So we're right at the 50% of where we essentially rejected from. Right here, here, here. That's where we're at right now. 15-minute consequent encouragement. Up here we have a inversion fair value gap. Gonna be interesting today. We have PPI news at 8:30. So far, if you look at this week's price action, we've stayed within this manipulation range of Friday. We haven't left Friday's range just yet. We're still inside of that. We kept holding at the 50%. But this is still inside of Friday's range. Just for reference. Turn on our group 1 again. And then the question is, do you want to be trading this? I don't. That's why I made the decision yesterday to, well, stop trading the London session on ES because price doesn't move. Yes, you can buy your VWAP support, but everything besides that doesn't make sense at all, if you ask me. Had a nice bullish value gap here, held up, yeah, but didn't really move in terms of points. If you catch the low from the VWAP, yes, maybe 5 points, but that's not really gonna cut it. Chart looks super choppy. We have made way too many volume imbalances here. Yeah, just looks like a massive lag in volume, if you ask me. Not sure really what's going on with the TradingView chart. I have the same issue on the funding pips chart. Spreads are a lot higher, so yeah, that's simply the reason why I prefer in Q, because it actually moves. Let's see if we can reach buy side liquidity before the new hourly opening. Because keep in mind, no worries. See you later, Bongo. If we think higher time frame during the London Killzone, 3 to 4 a.m. we consolidated right here. 4 till 5 a.m. essentially straight up. We open up 4 a.m. and that's where we're, depending on where we close on this candle, it's going to be the close on the hourly. Pretty strong hourly close, if we're being honest. 1 hour doji, next hour continuation. So I don't think it would be far from possible to see next hour at least retracing parts of this bullish hourly candle. But I think we won't see the retracement before we hit our buy side target. That's been a draw on liquidity this entire morning session. That's what we have been holding for. 250 bucks is my profit target usually. And I might just take it out early. I'm fine with that. Up 252, I have to reach a profit target of 150. I wish that the funded one. I don't know. It's going to be a surprise. EU is more interesting to me now with the potential AMD setup. I'm going to be watching it on the 15. The CFD NQ already hit buy side liquidity. So I would have made essentially the same amount of profit if I would have just kept on holding my overnight longs of this inversion fair value gap. Nice. Around 150 and 160. Contempt. The London session is over for me once it hits 5 a.m. It's also going to be the last hour within a 4-hour cycle starting at 2 a.m. So if we go to the 4-hour time frame and hide our lower time frame stuff, we are just watching what's happening on the 4-hour. Essentially what I've been looking for, not holding for the full pull. I'm a scalper, not a swing trader. Holding support on 4-hour bullish fair value gaps. We have buy side available up here. Maybe looking for a entry later during New York to reach into this. Yesterday was just horrible in terms of price action. This morning we got the first nice confirmation with the 4-hour pin bar slash hammer out of the 4-hour bullish fair value gap. And the next 4-hour candle, we continue to the upside. And that 4-hour candle is going to close in exactly 1 hour and 20 seconds. This hourly candle is going to close in 15 seconds now. Get a new 15-minute candle close. And so far, ever since the midnight open, we've been up only. Eventually, once we reach a specific buy-side target, we're going to see some sort of retracement. No questions about it. Might be once the next 4-hour candle is closing, but we will see. I will keep an eye on EU. Oh, it's looking good. Looking real good. But only if we get the 15-minute inversion. If we get the 15-minute inversion, I would place my trade like this. Stop loss down here, target right up here. Like this. So just putting it out there. What do you guys think about this, Kati or Ragnar, Simo? What do you think about this potential accumulation, manipulation, distribution setup? So this is our accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Because we're nearing the end of this live stream today. There we go. Fair enough. Now this is more sort of a swing trade idea for me that I'm happy to hold through New York and through, well, between sessions essentially. Alright guys, are there any questions left before I end the stream? It's the end of the London Killzone. I've been streaming for the last 2 hours. If there are any questions left, feel free to ask me now. I will also check out the YouTube live chat here. Today's New York session live stream at 9:30 at the New York Open will only be... No, that's not the right stream. Live. Will only be available for the Accumulation Zone VIP members. We have a current discount going on of 20% for the first 3 months. If you use the code, I forgot the code, winner. You simply use the code winner and you get a 20% discount on the VIP membership. You can also just sign up for the ICT all-in-one indicator or for a free trial essentially. But if you want to tune in today's New York session live stream, well, I would have to talk to the VIPs because they're paying for the live stream. If they're fine with me streaming 2 or maybe 3 times on YouTube as well, but with a certain delay. So the YouTube stream, just because it's live on YouTube, there's a little bit of a relay of usually 1 to 2 minutes. But well, I will talk about that with the VIP members. All right, Kati, see you later. Take care. No questions on YouTube. No questions on Discord. I will keep an eye on this 15-minute candle close. That's the last thing that I'm going to do. But I think I will do that off stream. Place my limit order. Give it some room to breathe. And those are my favorite setups on EU. They don't happen very often. But if we see that kind of action during the London session, most of the time it's a good setup. And if we see this massive 15-minute fair value gap being inverted, I'm more than happy to take the risk of 0.5% on my phase 2 account. Okay, our first inversion fair value gap here on NQ. But it's a new hourly opening, could just be some sort of fake out. We reached 3.5 standard deviations, so we reached that max zone based on our hourly lowest down closing candle. Haven't reached the SPY side yet. Might still be interesting. Perfectly aligned with our standard deviation targets. What's the time? It's 11:05. But that's going to be the end of the live stream. I will certainly place my limits if we close above on this 15-minute candle. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's London session live stream, making up for yesterday's live stream. RM, I will send your email address to the MFFU guy, and then you will receive your 50k challenge, start a challenge. All right, guys, thanks very much for joining in this morning. We will be back for the New York Open live stream. Until then, take care and enjoy your lunch break. Until later, bye.